Before we begin this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, because today's story will shake your heart and remind you that karma never misses its turn. He adjusted his tie in the mirror of the luxury suite, heart racing, pretending he didn't hear the soft giggle coming from behind him. The perfume of another woman filled the air, expensive, bold, and dangerous. Outside the tall glass windows, the city buzzed in daylight. He thought he had it all: money, charm, and secrecy. But in a few minutes, when the elevator doors opened, the man who thought he controlled everything would lose it all in one freezing instant. Daniel Mera was a successful businessman, known for his sharp suits and sharper smile. To the world, he was a loving husband to Aisha Mera, an intelligent, humble woman who had stood beside him for 15 years. Together, they had built a small business empire, brick by brick. But what no one knew was that Daniel had started changing. Late-night meetings. New phone. Hidden messages. And then, one day, her name appeared, Ria, a 28-year-old interior designer who made him feel young again. Daniel told himself it was harmless at first. Just dinner, he'd said. But dinner turned into nights. Nights turned into lies. And lies turned into a double life. That afternoon, Daniel booked a 5-star suite at the Grand Skylark Hotel, the same place where he had once brought Aisha to celebrate their anniversary. The irony didn't strike him, not yet. Ria twirled in front of the mirror, wearing a silky black dress. "You said your wife doesn't suspect a thing," she teased. Daniel smirked. "She's busy running her little charity work. She doesn't notice much these days." The words tasted bitter, but he swallowed them. He wanted to believe he was still in control. Just then, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He ignored it. But it buzzed again. And again. He frowned and answered, whispering, "Who's this?" The voice on the other end froze his blood. "Mr. Mera, this is the hotel manager. Our new owner wishes to personally welcome you to the Grand Skylark." "Owner?" Daniel frowned. "I thought Mr. Khanna still." "He sold it last week, sir," the manager interrupted politely. "The new owner is here. She's on her way up." Daniel hung up, confused. Ria laughed, sipping champagne. "What's the big deal? Owners don't personally greet guests." He tried to laugh with her, but his instincts screamed something was wrong. The elevator dinged. Footsteps. Firm. Familiar. Confident. Then, the door opened. Standing there, in a white business suit, was Aisha. For a moment, the world stopped breathing. The glass in Daniel's hand slipped and shattered. Ria gasped. And Aisha's calm, cold eyes met his. "Hello, Daniel," she said quietly. "Welcome to my hotel." The silence that followed was louder than any scream. Daniel's lips trembled. Aisha, what are you doing here?" Aisha stepped into the suite like she owned not just the room, but the air itself. "I'm here because I do own this place now. And you, Daniel, are in my property, committing a sin you thought I'd never find out." Ria stammered, I didn't know he was married." Aisha didn't even look at her. Her eyes never left Daniel's. "Leave," she said. And Ria ran. When the door closed, Daniel tried to speak. "Aisha, please, it's not what it looks like." "Stop lying," she interrupted, her voice calm but trembling beneath. "I've known for months." Daniel's face drained of color. "I saw the credit card statements. The perfume on your shirts. The nights you said you were traveling for business but never left the city." She took a deep breath. "I kept quiet. I wanted to see how far you'd go." Daniel broke down. "I made a mistake, Aisha. Please, we can fix this. You can't just walk away from 15 years. She smiled sadly. I didn't walk away. You did. The moment you chose someone else, you left me alone in a marriage I was still fighting for. Daniel fell to his knees, guilt heavy on his chest. I was stupid. I was lonely. Aisha's voice hardened. Lonely? You weren't lonely when I stayed up nights building your company's proposals, while you flirted behind my back. You weren't lonely when I skipped family dinners to support your dreams. Tears filled her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. You had everything, Daniel. And you threw it away for something shallow. Daniel's voice broke. What do you want from me? She looked at him with quiet strength. Nothing. Because now, I have everything I need. And with that, she walked out. Months passed. The scandal of Daniel's affair spread quietly through their social circles. The once confident man became a shadow of himself. His company began to crumble, investors pulled out, clients lost trust, and his own guilt consumed him. Meanwhile, Aisha rebuilt her life piece by piece. She bought controlling shares of the hotel chain they had once dreamed of visiting. It wasn't revenge, it was rebirth. She poured her pain into power, her heartbreak into focus. One rainy evening, Daniel stood outside the Grand Skylark again. His suit was wrinkled, his eyes hollow. He clutched a letter, not of apology, but of surrender. The lobby staff recognized him instantly. Mrs. Mara doesn't meet guests without an appointment, the receptionist said gently. He smiled faintly. I know. Just, tell her Daniel came to say thank you. For what? For setting me free, from the man I became. And he walked away into the rain. Later that night, Aisha found the letter at her desk. It read, I don't deserve forgiveness. But I hope one day, you'll remember me not for how I failed you, but for how you rose after I fell. You were always the stronger one, Aisha. Daniel. A single tear slipped down her cheek, not of sadness, but of closure. She whispered softly to the empty room, Goodbye, Daniel. She turned off the light and looked out at the city skyline, the same view where once her heart broke, now reflecting the glow of a woman reborn. And somewhere in that city, Daniel watched from afar, finally realizing that the greatest luxury wasn't found in five-star hotels, but in a loyal heart he could never buy back. And that's the story of how a woman lost everything, only to discover she had it all within herself. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes, the most powerful revenge is peace.